Thanks to everyone joining in live, and thank you to people watching this video. So, you know, w- people talk about faith a lot in the spiritual and religious world and the importance of it. And usually what faith means is belief in a specific doctrine. So, I was raised Christian, and so I was told over and over that faith was everything. Specifically, faith in a specific understanding of Jesus Christ was literally faith in a doctrine that Jesus died for my sins and that through accepting him as my savior, I would be saved. That's what I was taught that faith was, and that it was so important that I believe this. And so there are many different religious and spiritual traditions, each with sort of their different set of beliefs. And each of them emphasizes you, many of them emphasize you must believe this. This is so important. Everything rests on this, on believing this one thing. Sometimes it's a couple of related things. And if you don't have that particular belief, it's really, from the perspective of these traditions, it's the end of the world. So many of us have looked at these various traditions. Some of us have looked at multiple traditions, multiple religious traditions, multiple spiritual traditions, and we see a common core, but we also see some contradictions, some in the beliefs that we're told that we have to believe. And so it can be a little confusing if you look to the specifics and not to the core. And for this, I'm eternally grateful to Bruno Gröning for pointing out what what faith really is, and what it really means to have faith, and how to do that. So Bruno Gröning kept it so simple. He said this: those who believe they will be helped already are helped. I've also read that he said those who believe that they will be saved or healed are already helped. I've read different versions of that single statement, different translations. So Bruno Gröning boils it down to the root, the absolute root of what faith is. Faith is trusting that there's so many ways to say it, but trusting that good is coming our way, that good will come our way, that help, healing, salvation is coming our way. It's really, he keeps it very simple. He said, trust or confidence in the good, which again is another. Oh no, I'm getting a phone call. So when you do things live, you get phone calls. um, so that's the excitement of doing things live. So Bruno said, trust, confidence in the good, which is another name for God, is the foundation, the fundamental principle of divine order, meaning divine order in our lives. So I'm not trying to tell someone that they shouldn't believe a certain thing. I'm not trying to talk someone out of if you belong to a specific religion, I'm not trying to talk you out of your specific religious beliefs. And according to Bruno Gröning's teaching, what's the fundamental principle, um, the fundamental idea, the foundation of our lives, of any spiritual life, is trust, is confidence in the good. That needs to be our foundation. And from there, then yes, each of us will be drawn to different traditions and different paths. And let's get really clear what the foundation is. Why does this need to be our foundation? Well, Bruno Gröning said it very simply. Here's a quote from him. Emotional suffering is the very worst kind of anguish. Neither God nor I can help someone who abandons all hope. Someone who seeks help but will not renounce the erroneous belief that he cannot help or will not allow himself to be helped must continue along the path of suffering. So, let's look at the first thing that Bruno said here. Emotional suffering is the very worst kind of anguish. Neither God nor I can help someone who abandons all hope. Now, if we don't believe we can be helped, we've actually abandoned hope. It's very subtle, but it's very profound. So let's say I have a problem and I believe that I can't be helped. Well, on the surface, it might be like, oh, I believe I can't be helped. But what's right underneath that? Lack of faith in God and literally an abandoning of hope. Literally believing that whatever problem I'm up against is bigger than God. So that's why it has to be the foundation, because it's the one thing, lack of faith. And or well, let me put it this way. It's the solid declaration, no, there's no hope for me, or no, I can't be helped. That's the one thing that can block God from us. That's the one thing that can block a being such as Bruno Gröning. People said in his presence there was so much energy that it was literally as if everything, the room shook. There was so much energy pouring through Bruno Gröning. And yet, if someone had the belief, there's no hope for me or I cannot be helped, it could block all that energy. It could block all that grace. So, what's needed at the start is just openness. It's not like you have to start off being like, "Yes, I believe." I mean, that's nice and that'll save some time, but what's needed is openness. If there's not even an ounce of openness, that's how deep God's respect for free will is. If we've taken on the belief that we can't be helped, God will respect that. So again, I'm going to read these quotes of Bruno's. Emotional suffering is the very worst kind of anguish. Neither God nor I can help someone who abandons all hope. Someone who seeks help but will not renounce the erroneous belief that they cannot be helped or will not allow himself to be helped must continue along his path of suffering. So it's just an erroneous belief that we can't be helped. And yet that erroneous belief can literally keep out the limitless power of God. Why? Because God respects free will. So let's take a little time in silence. And each person who's joining in live and each person who watches this video is at a different point on their journey of faith. and it might change day to day. Some days we might be, you know, like in complete faith, and some days we might lose faith. It's both a spectrum, which I think of it as it starts with openness, and then to possibility, and then to trust, and then to confidence, and then to faith, and then to conviction. That's how I sort of think of the journey of faith. And of course, we can slide backwards sometimes. It's not my experience. It hasn't just been this like onward, upward um, journey. It's had peaks and valleys. And my wish is for everyone that it just be an upward, simple journey. May your journey be smoother than mine has been. So let's take a little time in silence. See where we are. See where we are on this journey today. And really take in the good. And as we observe our bodies with the intention to absorb this energy, let's also remember we're taking in the energy that can do everything. Let's give away doubt. Let's give away the lie. Let's give away the lie that we cannot be helped. Let's give away the lie that there is no hope. Let's give away the lie that we're not worthy of being helped. Bruno spoke about this. According to Bruno Gröning, there's only two real conditions to be helped that we need to meet. One of them is that we be open to help, and the other is that we be willing to learn to walk the good path. Those are like the baseline requirements. Bruno said he's not able to help someone who's not willing to walk the good path, to make the great turnaround. So let's, even if just for a moment, say, yes, yes, I am willing. I am open to being led to walk the good path. That's the baseline. I have a friend who's really taking to these teachings, and she's just declaring that she literally wants to be a servant of love. She wants to be an embodiment of love in this world and serve love. I believe that's the ultimate that we're all striving for. And what it can, and again, there can be a whole range of spectrum, but it needs to start with I want to walk the good path. I want to do what's right. And the beauty of it is we're not doing this alone. We have the help of Bruno. We have the help of the infinite God. We just need to align ourselves, which is actually another meaning of the German word einstellen. We need to align ourselves with God and be open to that help, open to the possibility, and then willing to follow God.